Gospel of John, chapter 13, verses 1 through 17, and 31 through 35. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. He then poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know what I am now doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash your feet, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who is bathed does not need to wash, except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, you also have to wash one another's feet. For I have set before you an example that you should also do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their masters, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." Now the Son of Man had been glorified, and God had been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and will glorify him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look at me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. But I give you a new commandment, a commandment that you love one another just as I have loved you. You should also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. These are the sacred stories of God for the people of God. Praise be to God. Was there someone in your family that was the matriarch or patriarch, someone that kind of held the family together, always insisted on family gatherings, was perhaps the one that taught you how to cook or to fix cars or to clean, maybe even taught you a hobby? This person is the one who shared the stories of the family history, the good and the bad and the ugly. Perhaps it was she or he who gathered everyone around a table to share the happenings of one's day or one's life. And maybe this was the same person who taught you the prayers you know by heart, or even your favorite scripture. From the time you were little, you were taught right from wrong, how to behave in public, how to treat others, the golden rule. Maybe this person is also the one who lovingly helped you to pick up the pieces of broken dreams, fragmented relationships, and helped you to begin to put the shattered pieces back together. Perhaps for you, this person is still around and continues to draw you in and to teach you. But for some of us, that valuable person in the family has passed from this life, and we are left with those memories and those teachings, memories and teachings that hopefully we will pass on and that will continue for generations to come. Jesus, on this night we call Maundy Thursday, was doing just that. Jesus was gathering loved ones around the table and making memories. Disciples gathered around the table with Jesus and ate a meal together, and when they had finished, Jesus got up from the table and proceeded to wash the disciples' feet. They were perplexed by this. They believed that they should not be the recipient of this important task done by their Messiah. But Jesus continues and uses this moment as a teaching moment. He teaches that this is how you treat one another. No one, whether master or servant, is above the other. And then he shares the commandment, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. Mandatum. The origin of Maundy is Latin for commandment. As crucifixion nears, Jesus gives his remaining disciples a commandment, a mandatum, related to love. They are to love one another as Jesus has loved them. This is similar to the Shema Yisrael, from which the greatest commandment comes. Love God, love people. They were to remember how Jesus loved them. They were to use these remembrances and these encounters with Jesus to remember those acts of healing and teaching and signs and wonders, all of which were performed and done in love, and all of which they will need to remember. Throughout the Gospel of John, the disciples are said to have remembered certain events after Jesus' resurrection. John's Gospel emphasizes memory. It emphasizes its role in belief. And we see that Jesus is constantly preparing the disciples for the time that is yet to come. They are to keep one another close and to love one another as they have been loved by Christ. We, like the disciples, have been taught by the stories in the Bible, by our families, by our faith families, and perhaps that one special person who was a guide. We have experienced for ourselves the love of God. We have all experienced brokenness. And just like sea glass that was once whole but is now fragmented, on this night we are reminded of the brokenness within all of humanity. And we pause. On this night, we remember the one who taught the disciples and continues to teach us, the one who lovingly helped them and us to pick up the pieces of broken dreams, fragmented relationships, transforms these shattered pieces into something new, and even something beautiful. On this night of all nights, let us remember.